When humans officially joined the Galactic Alliance, curiosity spread quickly through alien scientific circles. Many species had joined before them, each bringing something rare or powerful. Humans, however, arrived with no obvious advantage. Their ships were heavy and inefficient. Their technology relied on backups stacked on more backups. Their bodies, once scanned, caused open confusion among medical experts. Alien scientists began medical studies almost immediately. They expected to find some hidden strength, some special organ or advanced biological system. Instead, what they saw looked wrong. Human bodies appeared fragile and unfinished. Bones were thin compared to armored species. Organs were soft and poorly protected. Blood loss was common. Infection was constant. Healing took time and rest, which seemed like weakness. Charts filled with warnings. Human joints showed wear even in young adults. Scars marked skin everywhere. Old injuries never fully disappeared. Muscle tore easily under stress. Internal systems failed often and had to be corrected by medicine or surgery. According to alien standards, humans should not function at all. Yet they did. Humans walked, worked, and lived in places where other species struggled. They survived high gravity, unstable air mixes, and wide temperature changes. They worked long hours, often ignoring pain signals. They adapted to new environments faster than expected. None of this matched the medical data. Researcher Evan Cole became one of the first humans selected for deep examination. He agreed without hesitation. Evan was not young. His body showed years of labor and exposure. Old burns crossed his arms. One knee carried damage from a fall long ago. Scans revealed healed fractures, scar tissue, and joints that no longer moved smoothly. An alien medical team studied him closely. They asked how he continued working with so many issues. Evan simply shrugged. He said he was used to it. He explained that pain faded into the background after a while. You learn to move around it. This answer confused them. Pain to most species was a clear stop signal. It meant damage, failure, and retreat. For humans, it was information. Evan explained that pain told you where to be careful, not always when to quit. The scanners recorded rising stress responses as he spoke, but his voice stayed calm. During physical testing, Evan showed limits that should have stopped him. His grip weakened quickly. His balance was imperfect. His endurance dropped faster than expected. Still, he completed every task. When asked why he pushed on, he said the same thing again. Work needed to be done. The aliens compared Evan's results to others. The pattern repeated. Humans were not strong in short tests. They were not fast in recovery. But they kept going longer than models predicted. They adapted movement, changed pace, and accepted reduced performance instead of stopping completely. One alien scientist noted that human biology seemed designed to fail slowly instead of suddenly. Systems broke down in parts, not all at once. A human could lose function in one area and continue using others. This was not efficient. It was messy. But it worked. Further scans revealed something stranger. Human bodies responded to repeated stress by changing. Muscles rebuilt thicker after damage. Bones grew denser where pressure was constant. Even internal systems adjusted slightly over time. Healing was slow, but it improved future survival. Evan returned for multiple sessions. Each time he showed signs of fatigue, yet he kept his schedule. He joked with technicians and asked questions about the equipment. When one alien assistant apologized for the length of the testing, Evan waved it off. He said he had done worse for less reason. The alien doctors began to understand that humans did not see their bodies as fragile. They saw them as tools that required care but could be pushed when needed. Damage was expected. Recovery was part of life. Medical logs filled with contradictions. Human biology violated efficiency rules. It wasted energy on stress reactions. It healed slowly. It tolerated damage instead of preventing it. Yet it endured. The final report on Evan Cole ended with a simple note. Human bodies were not built to avoid harm. They were built to survive it. And that truth unsettled the Alliance more than any weapon ever could. Alien doctors continued their study by watching humans during normal work instead of controlled tests. They believed that daily behavior would reveal truths that machines could not measure. Humans were placed under quiet observation across stations, ships, and repair zones. What the doctors saw did not fit any known medical model. One technician drew special attention. His name was Mark Lewis. He worked in maintenance, fixing damaged systems that kept the station alive. His hands were scarred, and his posture showed long years of strain. Scans revealed old fractures, joint damage, and muscle tears that never fully healed. According to alien standards, Mark should have been removed from duty. He was not. Mark continued repairs even when injured. When a panel slipped and crushed his fingers, he wrapped them and returned to work. When heat burns marked his arms, he cooled them and kept going. Alien doctors noted his pain signals were strong, yet his actions did not stop. He adjusted his movement and pace instead. The doctors believed this behavior would shorten his life. Instead, Mark adapted. His body compensated for weak areas. He shifted weight, used tools differently, and rested only when absolutely necessary. His body did not wait for full recovery. It found ways around damage. Another human under study was a pilot named Aaron Scott. He flew long routes through unstable space. His sleep cycles were poor. Fatigue readings stayed high. Reaction times slowed after extended shifts. By every medical rule, Aaron should have made fatal mistakes. He did not. Aaron relied on training and focus rather than physical strength. When tired, he reduced movement. He double-checked actions. He trusted habit and routine. Alien doctors noticed that while his body weakened, his awareness sharpened. Stress responses increased alertness instead of panic. One flight provided clear evidence. A navigation failure occurred during a long shift. Aaron had been awake for far too long. His body showed signs of exhaustion. Yet he stabilized the ship calmly, using manual controls and memory rather than speed. The ship survived. The doctors were disturbed. Human immune systems caused even greater confusion. When humans faced infection or injury, their bodies reacted violently. Fever rose. Pain increased. Inflammation spread. To alien medicine, this looked like self-harm. Other species avoided internal damage at all cost. Humans did not. The human immune system attacked threats with force, even when it damaged healthy tissue. Alien doctors believed this was reckless. Yet records showed humans survived diseases that should have overwhelmed them. Their bodies accepted temporary damage to remove danger. Recovery followed. Healing was slow and imperfect. Scars remained. Systems did not return to original condition. Yet humans adapted to these changes. Scar tissue strengthened weak areas. Memory adjusted behavior. Survival mattered more than restoration. The doctors noticed something else. Humans did not wait to feel well before acting. They acted because action was required. Comfort was secondary. Survival came first. Mark Lewis returned to work days after a serious fall. Aaron Scott flew again after barely resting. Alien doctors tried to intervene, warning of long-term damage. Humans listened politely and then continued as before. This was not ignorance. Humans understood risk. They simply accepted it. The doctors studied emotional responses alongside biology. Humans formed bonds at work. They joked, complained, and shared food. These actions reduced stress and improved recovery speed. Social connection acted like medicine. Alien medicine rarely included emotion. Humans depended on it. Records showed that when humans worked alone, recovery slowed. When they worked together, endurance increased. Support mattered as much as treatment. The doctors realized they were measuring the wrong thing. Human biology could not be separated from human behavior. Body and mind worked as one system. Pain did not mean stop. It meant adjust. Mark Lewis laughed when told his body was damaged. He said everyone was damaged in some way. Aaron Scott said tiredness was normal. You learn to work with it. The alien doctors updated their notes. Human bodies were not designed for comfort. They were built to endure stress, accept damage, and continue forward. Weakness was not failure. It was expected. That truth unsettled alien science. Humans were not fragile. They were persistent. And persistence kept them alive. Human doctors were invited to speak before the Alien Council after weeks of confusion and debate. The council chamber was large and quiet, built to reduce emotion and focus attention. Many alien scientists believed human biology was unstable, risky, and poorly designed. They expected the human doctors to defend flaws with excuses. What they heard instead forced them to rethink everything. Dr. Laura Stone stood at the center of the chamber. She did not wear armor or ceremonial clothing. She wore simple work clothes and carried no tools. Her posture was relaxed and her voice was calm. She did not look afraid or proud. She looked prepared. She began by explaining that humans did not evolve in safe worlds. Their early environments were filled with predators, disease, hunger, and injury. Survival was never guaranteed. Because of this, human bodies were shaped by constant danger. Perfection was never possible. Adaptation was. She explained pain first. Many alien doctors believed pain was a system failure. Dr. Stone said pain was a message. It warned humans of damage, but it did not always demand retreat. Humans learned when to listen closely and when to push forward carefully. Pain taught limits, not surrender. She moved on to fever. Alien medicine saw fever as harmful overheating. Dr. Stone explained that fever helped the body fight threats. It was uncomfortable and risky, but it increased survival. Humans accepted discomfort because avoiding danger mattered more than comfort. Stress confused the aliens the most. Their species avoided it whenever possible. Stress damaged systems and reduced efficiency. Dr. Stone explained that stress in humans increased alertness and readiness. Short-term stress helped humans react quickly. Long-term stress caused damage, but humans learned to manage it through rest, routine, and support. The council listened in silence. Nurse Daniel Reed joined her explanation. He spoke simply and clearly. He explained that human bodies were built to keep going even when damaged. A broken bone healed stronger. Muscles rebuilt after tearing. Scars remained, but they told the body how to protect itself next time. He explained that humans expected injury. Their medical systems were designed to repair, not prevent all harm. Failure was not the end. Recovery was part of life. Alien scientists questioned this logic. Why allow damage at all? Why not design bodies to avoid it? Dr. Stone answered honestly. Avoidance was impossible. Humans lived in changing environments. Flexibility mattered more than protection. She explained the immune system. It attacked threats fiercely, sometimes harming the body itself. This seemed dangerous, but it removed danger quickly. Humans accepted short-term harm for long-term survival. Daniel Reed added that human medicine worked with the body, not against it. Doctors supported healing, but they did not control everything. The body learned from each injury and adjusted. The council reviewed live data as the doctors spoke. Human survival rates matched the explanations. Humans survived not because they were strong but because they adapted. Dr. Stone explained one final idea. Humans did not seek comfort. Comfort was temporary. Survival was continuous. Humans endured discomfort if it meant protecting others or reaching safety. She spoke of teamwork. Human biology worked best with support. Social bonds reduced stress, improved healing, and increased endurance. Humans healed better when they were not alone. The council realized they had studied humans incorrectly. They measured efficiency, not resilience. They measured strength, not persistence. Daniel Reed ended with a simple statement. Human bodies were not mistakes. They were answers to hard questions. Silence filled the chamber. The alien council understood now. Humans were not poorly designed. They were designed by struggle. And that truth changed everything. The medical emergency began without warning. A deep space station suffered a sudden system failure after a power surge damaged its shielding. Radiation leaked into several living sections before alarms fully activated. The station was home to a mixed crew made up of several species, each with different biological limits. Emergency protocols began at once, but the damage was already done. Alien crewmates were the first to feel the effects. Their bodies reacted quickly and violently to radiation exposure. Some collapsed within minutes. Others lost coordination and vision. Medical scanners showed rapid internal failure. Their systems were designed to avoid damage, not endure it. Once protection failed, their bodies had little defense. Humans were affected too, but differently. Paul Turner was working in a lower engineering bay when the alarms sounded. He felt heat spread through his chest and a sharp pressure behind his eyes. His skin tingled and nausea rose fast. He knew something was wrong. He should have collapsed. Instead, he leaned against the console, took slow breaths, and stayed standing. Megan Brooks was in the medical wing at the time. She felt dizzy as lights flickered. Her hands shook as she grabbed a scanner. The readings were bad. Radiation levels were high enough to cause serious damage. She should have evacuated immediately. Instead, she moved toward the injured. Alien observers monitoring the station noticed the difference almost at once. Human vital signs spiked but did not fail. Heart rates increased. Stress responses activated. Bodies shifted into survival mode. The humans were clearly suffering, yet they remained conscious and functional. Paul reached a collapsed alien crew member near a sealed corridor. He dragged them toward a safer area despite weakness in his legs. Each step felt heavier than the last. His muscles burned. His vision narrowed. Still he moved forward. Megan began triage in the medical wing. Several alien crewmates were unconscious. Their bodies could not process the damage. Megan worked quickly, adjusting settings, administering support treatments, and calling for help. Her own hands trembled. Sweat covered her face. She ignored it. The human immune response activated strongly. Inflammation rose. Fever followed. Pain signals increased across the body. To alien medicine this looked like further harm. But the humans stayed active. Paul felt the fever growing. His thoughts slowed. He sat briefly, pressed his back against the wall, then stood again. He remembered training. He remembered others depended on him. That was enough. Megan leaned against a table when her vision blurred. She waited for the room to steady. Then she continued. She spoke calmly to injured crew members even when her voice shook. Her presence kept others focused. Alien doctors watching remotely could not understand what they saw. Human biology should have failed. The radiation exposure was beyond safe limits. Yet the humans adapted slowly, steadily. Their bodies adjusted chemical balances. Blood flow changed. Systems compensated. Recovery was not fast. It was not clean. It was enough. Hours passed before containment was restored. By then, several alien crewmates had been stabilized only because humans remained active long enough to assist. Paul finally collapsed after the emergency ended. Megan sat down when no one else needed help. Medical scans showed significant damage in both humans. Cells were harmed. Systems were stressed. Long recovery would be needed. Yet they were alive. Alien observers reviewed the data in silence. The theory was no longer theory. Human bodies were not designed to avoid damage. They were designed to survive it. They sacrificed comfort, efficiency, and safety to remain active just long enough to make a difference. Paul recovered slowly. Megan rested under medical care. Neither spoke of heroism. They asked about the others first. Alien medicine changed that day. Humans had endured conditions meant to be fatal. Theory had become fact. The Alien Council met again after the medical emergency, but this time the mood was different. There was no confusion, no argument, and no disbelief. The data was complete. The recordings were clear. What they had seen could not be explained away or ignored. Human biology was no longer a mystery. It was an answer. The council reviewed the final medical reports in silence. Charts showed damage, stress, and long recovery times. Yet beside each failure point was another mark showing survival. Humans had endured pain that would disable other species. They had adapted while injured. They had continued to function when comfort was impossible. This forced a new understanding. Human biology was not weak. It was shaped by struggle. The council members compared humans to their own species. Most alien bodies were designed to avoid harm. They relied on stable environments and precise systems. When protection failed, survival rates dropped fast. Humans were different. Their bodies expected harm. They were built to respond, not retreat. The council discussed pain. They once believed pain was proof of poor design. Now they saw it as communication. Pain guided humans. It taught limits but did not demand surrender. Humans learned how far they could go and when to slow down. They discussed recovery. Human healing was slow and imperfect. Scars remained. Damage changed the body. Yet those changes often made humans stronger in specific ways. The body remembered. It adjusted. They discussed the immune system. It was aggressive and sometimes harmful. But it acted fast. It accepted risk to remove danger. Humans survived infections that should overwhelm them because their bodies fought without hesitation. Alien medicine had focused on prevention and control. Human medicine focused on response and repair. Neither approach was perfect, but one endured chaos better than the other. The council accepted that truth. New medical programs were proposed. Alien doctors began studying how to increase resilience instead of avoiding all stress. Controlled exposure replaced total protection. Recovery became as important as prevention. Humans were invited to assist in this transition, not as leaders but as examples. Their biology had lessons to teach. Humans did not celebrate this change. They did not claim superiority. When told their bodies were remarkable, they shrugged. Survival was normal to them. Struggle was expected. The council noted this attitude carefully. Humans did not see endurance as a gift. They saw it as responsibility. Over time, human presence near medical research stations increased. Not for testing but for cooperation. Mixed crews learned from human methods. Rest cycles changed. Support systems expanded. Emotional care became part of treatment. Survival rates improved. The council issued its final classification. Humans were recognized as survivors by design. Not because they were flawless but because they adapted. Pain, damage, and recovery were part of their natural process. This understanding changed how the galaxy viewed them. Humans were no longer seen as fragile or poorly built. They were respected for enduring what others could not. Their bodies carried the history of struggle, and that history gave them strength. The universe had shaped them through hardship. And they had survived. That was the truth. And the galaxy would never forget it.